On this episode of Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast, we're going to give you the housing stats for the past month, and we'll talk about what interest rates are predicted to do over the next couple of years, all in the next 15 minutes on Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast.
You're listening to the Bo Knows Real Estate Podcast. Tips and advice for home buyers, sellers, and owners with award-winning RE/MAX agent, Bo Kaufman.
Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to announce that we have a new home for Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast. It's a new home on the web, and you can easily find it at bonos.homes/podcast. So what's so good about it? Why am I so excited about it? Well, you can find all the episodes, of course, in one place with easy access to all the major podcast players right there, as well as links to my podcast apps, which are available for iOS, Apple, and Android devices. But more importantly, if you go to this site on your mobile device, that is bonos.homes/podcast, it'll load with a little icon in the bottom of the screen, a little microphone that allows you to send me a voicemail questions about real estate. Try it out. Send me your questions about real estate, buying or selling in Winnipeg, and I'll answer those questions in an upcoming podcast. We have an example today, and I'm going to answer a question later on in this episode. Came across an interesting article today in Canadian Mortgage Trends, where the Bank of Canada is saying that low interest rates are likely here to stay for another 2 to 3 years. This announcement is expected to affect both fixed and variable rates, and fixed rates might actually be falling further. In a recent survey by BMO, 57% of first-time buyers said they'll choose a fixed rate. The article ends with some economists predicting that rates will remain low well beyond the 2023 year. And you can find a link to that article in the show notes below. The main focus of this episode is going to be the housing market report for November 1st in Winnipeg. And if you'd like to see the visual copy of this, it's a really, really neat way to do that. On your mobile device, go to bonos.homes/market. Especially on mobile devices, it'll load really quickly. It's kind of a story format, and you can see all the slides with all the stats for Winnipeg's housing market at this time of year. You know, this winter, I believe a lot of people are going to forego traveling and saving thousands of dollars in the process of not taking winter holidays. Now, some will take that opportunity to put that money back into their homes in the form of renovations or upgrades. Whether you want to improve your house simply for your own benefits or prepare for what I think is going to be a very hectic spring market, painting offers, in my opinion, one of the best returns on your investment. Now, painting your home interior sounds like an easy DIY project, but I've seen some of them go horribly wrong. So unless you're an accomplished house painter, leave this to the pros. It's well worth the money. Call my friend Rob White at Urban Top Coat Painting. Walls, ceilings, floors, if it doesn't move, he can paint it. Now, I'm not charging for this shout out. I'm just recommending him because I've had a number of clients use him in the past and we're very happy with his results. You can call Rob at 204-791-8024. The link is in the show notes as well. You can simply go to bonos.homes/painting. It's a URL shortener, just makes it easier to say. But the link is in the show notes as well. So let's take a look at the housing market stats in Winnipeg as they are on November 1st, 2020. First, let's look at the market highlights. Sales over the past month, so during the month of October. In Winnipeg, we sold 672 houses and 98 condos. Now, while that's down a little bit from the previous month, it is still well above last year, same time. And the most expensive house sold in Winnipeg for $1.6 million in Tuxedo. And there were 3 sales of houses of $1 million and more. Of course, this was one of them. So total 3 sales of $1 million or more. Interestingly, too, there are 28 homes right now listed at $1 million or more available in Winnipeg. So let's take a look at available houses, available listings in Winnipeg on November 1st. Right now, we are down to 955 available houses. That's attached, detached, townhouses, and duplexes, and mobile homes. That's total, 955 in Winnipeg. Compare that to 1,090 the previous month. But especially the stark contrast is to last year's same time. We had 1,610 available. That equates to a 40% drop in available listings over the same time last year. How does that break down over price range? Well, houses under $250,000, there's fewer and fewer of those. Last year we had 444. This month we have 293. The mid-range, which is Winnipeg's most popular price range, from $250,000 to $500,000. Last year we had just about 800 available right now. This year, 404. So that's about a 50% drop. And for luxury homes, last year we had 370 available. This month, same time, 257. So obviously, available houses are way down. What about the sales? Well, we already talked about the fact that last year we sold 428, and this time, same time period, we sold 672. That's a 57% increase. How does that break down over with the different price ranges? The lowest price homes under 250. Last year we sold 137 during October. This year 143. One of the biggest increases are in that mid-range, 250 to 500,000. Last year we sold 251 homes during October. This year 439. And percentage-wise, the biggest increase is actually in luxury homes. Those are listed at 500,000 and more. Last year, we sold 40 in the month of October. This year, more than double, we sold 90. So when the numbers of available listings are down 40% and sales are up nearly 60%, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that we are in a hot seller's market, especially in anything under $500,000 up to maybe close to $600,000. That figure is expressed in inventory days on market. So how many days will it take to sell everything that's out there? Houses under 250,000, a maximum range would be about 120 days. Last year it was 100 days, and this month we're down to 64 days. In other words, if nothing else gets listed, it's going to take just 2 months to sell everything that's out there at this rate. Mid-range houses, last year we were at 98 days to sell everything. Now we're down to 29 days. That's 3 times as fast. And even luxury homes. Last year, we were at 286 days. Now we're down to 89 days. So again, if nobody listed their house going forward, it would only take 89 days, so 3 months, to sell everything that's out there at the current rate. It's just a way to keep track and just a way to demonstrate how fast the market is. So normally at this time of year, this entering into November, I would say, it's not a great time to sell because normally we have a ton of inventory out there that's built up over the summer and fall. But this obviously is not a normal year. So if you're looking to sell your house, now is still a great time to put it on the market. There's still lots of action, lots of activity. I'll give you a couple of examples. House listed in East Kildonan at $220,000, sold for $265,000. And a house in St. James listed for $267,000, sold for $315,000. And it's not just in those price ranges. There's a house in the St. Boniface area that was listed at $570,000. It sold for $590,000. So it really doesn't matter what price range your house is in. It's still a good time to list it right now. Give me a shout. Bo Kaufman, Remax Performance Realty, 204-333-2202.
We'll be right back after this short announcement.
Are you looking to buy a house or a condo in Winnipeg? Work with the agent who takes the time to explain the process to you, guiding you through every step. For service beyond the sale, book your home buying consultation with Bo Kaufman of Remax Performance today. Bo knows real estate.
Do you remember at the beginning of this show, I told you about a way to send me voicemail and ask me questions about real estate? Well, here's one right now.
Hi, Bo. We just bought a house and the possession date is coming up. How do we get our keys?
Now, this is a very common question I get. Please understand that it really depends on where you are. In some places in the States and the rest of Canada, these things are handled by the realtor. But in Winnipeg, we do things in the following way. So about a week before possession date, let's say possession date is November 15th. Well, the week before, the seller will meet with their lawyer and give them a copy of the key. As the buyer, you're going to meet with your lawyer, sign a bunch of papers, and give him the directions on how to get the mortgage money. That's all handled through the banks. Ideally, the day or so before possession, the seller's lawyer and the buyer's lawyer exchange all the information. The buyer's lawyer sends the money, the seller's lawyer sends the keys. So in a perfect arrangement, if your possession is on, let's say, the 15th, on a perfect world, you're going to go see your lawyer on the afternoon of the 14th and pick up the keys the day before possession. That's ideal. Most of the times I write possession as 9 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully you'll have the key before then, and at 9 o'clock you can show up at your new place, and open the door and go in. Please understand that just because you have the key the day before doesn't mean that you have right to access. Do not go in the day before. You might surprise the seller who spends one more day in their house, or just as bad, maybe the seller left an alarm on and you're going to go in there and trip the whole thing. The cops come. It's a whole big thing. Now, notice I said in a perfect world. It does happen where 9 o'clock in the morning, the lawyers aren't in their office yet. They didn't get the instructions the day before. And at 10 o'clock, they'll call you and say, hey, we just got the key now. Come on down and pick it up. So for that reason, I highly recommend that you do not order your moving company or any service techs or sales reps or anything to show up at the house at 9:01 that morning. You may not actually have the key. Now, that's not supposed to happen, but does it? Yes, it does happen. Don't order the moving truck. They're going to sit in front for a couple of hours until you get the key and get in there. So perhaps funny story time here. I always recommend that you get a lawyer in the city where you bought the house. So if you're buying a house in Winnipeg, get a Winnipeg lawyer. It did happen to me once where both the seller and the buyer were in Winnipeg, but they both chose different country lawyers. Don't know why. I guess they had some arrangement or they had some prior history with them. So one lawyer was in Tuktoyaktuk and the other one was in Winnebago. I don't remember the exact places, but on possession day, they'd both gone on holidays and nobody told the other one. So instead of possession, everything was delayed by a week. Now, that's not supposed to happen. And if one party had wanted out of the deal, they might have had a case to get out. But that was perhaps, that was the only time I've ever had a case like that. Both parties, they were just not on the ball. It was like done on country time, I guess. And it all worked out well, though. But choose a lawyer in the area where you live. And if you're not sure and you don't have a lawyer, give me a shout. I've got a good one on speed dial, and I'll send you in the right directions. So we've just heard how hectic Winnipeg's market is. Over the next few months, here's what normally happens. Normally, listings slow down, as does buyer activity, and this is normally a good time to buy. But since listings are already low, there's no large selection of homes on the market for buyers to pick from. After that, we're going to enter the spring market, which is traditionally a super hot seller's market to begin with. But will it be again in 2021? Or will there be an increase in foreclosures and people needing to sell due to economic difficulties in the pandemic? Now, next week, we're going to take a look at the condo market in Winnipeg. How is it reacting to the pandemic? And could condos offer an alternative to shell-shocked home buyers in Winnipeg?
Darcy's Animal Rescue Center in Winnipeg is a charitable organization which helps save and protect our four-legged friends. Since its start 15 years ago, Darcy's has saved and found new homes for over 10,000 cats and dogs in our city. Darcy knows pets. Bo Kaufman of Remax Performance Realty is a proud supporter of Darcy's Animal Rescue and now makes this special offer. Buy or sell your house or condo in Winnipeg using Bo as your agent, and he'll donate $250 towards Darcy's ARC if you mention this offer. Call Bo Kaufman to help you sell or buy your next home in Winnipeg. Bo knows real estate.
You've been listening to Bo Kaufman of Remax Performance Realty. Are you thinking of buying or selling a house or a condo in Winnipeg? Call Bo at 204-333-2202. Remember, Bo knows real estate.